Hey, welcome to the first ever Hangar Z video podcast, shot on location in the desert area of the Salt River near MD Helicopters headquarters in Mesa, Arizona. This video podcast is brought to you by Vertical Valor magazine. Jeff and I were invited out to MD Helicopters to see firsthand the good work being done on the production line and an opportunity to observe the flight characteristics and performance of the MD 530 helicopter at their facility located on the Falcon Field Airport in Mesa, Arizona. In this video podcast, Jeff gets some stick time in a flight with MD Helicopters pilot CJ Schneider. You'll see firsthand the training grounds for MD Helicopters in the beautiful terrain to the northeast of Falcon Field. The flight includes low-level flight over the Salt River and through the rolling hills and groves of saguaro cactuses. During the flight, CJ talked about training and safety. He discusses working at MD Helicopters and how the current leadership with Brad Peterson at the helm is positively changing the culture within the company and working to restore MD to its former glory. At the very end of the flight, you'll see CJ demonstrate a full-down auto-rotation when they return to Falcon Field. Grab a beverage and enjoy this first ever Hangar Z video podcast. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Metro Aviation, Shotover, and CNC Technologies, as well as our supporters on Patreon. Cheers.
Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast. Brought to you by Vertical Valor magazine. The Hangar Z podcast is the first and only podcast dedicated to promoting and exploring the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Before we get into the episode, I would like to thank our sponsors, Metro Aviation, Shotover, and CNC Technologies.
We got clearance, no one that way.
Nope. Turn left on Alpha, hold short of runway 22 left.
Alright, so go ahead and take the controls and we'll follow this road outbound for a minute. And we're just going to stay below 1,800 feet. Below 1,800 feet. And all the controls are yours. I got it.
24 confirmed, 22 right, line of away.
22 right, Oxford 8624.
Yeah, you got the Boeing, you got the Apaches over there.
Yeah. Oxford 6039, no delay off the runway, please. Left at the end and Alpha, hold short.
Once we cross the runway, we'll kind of head out towards like the bottom side of this mountain over here.
Okay. Left after 6039.
So you're from California?
Yeah, born and raised Northern California. Lived in Southern California. You know, flew for Riverside PD for 9 years. I worked there for 14, but I spent 9 in the air unit.
Nice.
Make right traffic, runway 22 right. Clear home take Oxford 8624.
Yeah,
1395.
it's on my
1395.
one of the Houston PD guys the other day randomly texted me and he was like, "Hey, what's your dream? What's your dream job?" And I was like, "It's a weird thing to ask me," but I was like, honestly, it's like if money wasn't a thing or I could go back again, I was like, I want to be one of those cops that gets to wear a cowboy hat and ride around in an SUV and pull people over and show up places. So that's my dream job.
Yeah.
He's like, you can still do that, right? I was like, yeah, but a little bit different.
Just off the departure into the dam.
That dam right there, we'll come over the right side. But yeah, so I've always wanted to be a cop. I thought about it when I got out of the Marine Corps, but I don't know, I just never pursued it. I just went to flight school instead, and
Now, would you fly in the Army?
I didn't. I was just a ground guy in the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's right. You were Marine Corps. That's right. So yeah, I was the same. I was a Black Hawk crew chief in the Army. I got out.
Terrain.
Well, I became a cop. I was in the National Guard. Went to Iraq, came back, got hired by the police department.
Okay.
And then after I got hired, I spent 5 years as a patrol officer, and then I got selected to go to the air unit as a pilot trainee. And then Dave Mullins did all my training.
Very cool.
So I flew with him, did a lot of surveillance work with him.
X-ray 624, roger.
And how's your time at Riverside PD Air Unit?
How was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. I mean,
And when I'll call your
But
base.
besides the leadership, the job itself,
Oh,
working
I
with the guys and stuff.
oh yeah. I mean, I was flying airplanes and helicopters. We had a Cessna 206.
Hell yeah.
So there was days where I'd be up in the airplane, come back, land, go get something to eat, and then somebody would be screaming for us on the radio. I'd run back, jump in a 500, and take off and go, chase bad guys in the helicopter. So,
That was like a dream, dude.
yeah, now they've transitioned to 125s, so they're out of the 500 business.
On the downwind off your right.
Right crossing on sir, 1395.
Yeah, I haven't met any of those guys from California flying 500. Any of the units that don't just love it out there, you know, and what they do.
Yeah, there's, I like what I do now. I would, if you said, hey, you want to come fly 500s or 530s and do in Tennessee or somewhere else, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I love this helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
That's the biggest thing. Here, I got the control center.
Okay, you got?
Yeah. I'll kind of roll us down into there.
Rack 83, follow that Archer, make a slight left turn. There's traffic on the downwind to extend to follow you. Number 2, runway 22, right, clear to land, wind 1707.
Following the traffic, number 2, 22 right, clear to land, red Rock 83.
624, make a left turn and wide downwind. Look for
I'll just maneuver it over. But you know what? I fly in the hottest place almost in the United States, and I've never once thought about air conditioning. I've never been so hot where I'm like, God, I love some air conditioning.
Yeah, that's how Riverside is too, you know? And I got it.
Alright, so direct, we got that 10 to go. Alright, side left turn, and we'll be looking for traffic.
When was the last time you had to whip around a 500?
I know, man. And, I used to fly our air show every year where I'd go out and do, ag turns and return to targets. And, really get to show what the helicopter could do to the public.
Exactly.
I got traffic.
I've watched videos of guys that do, that have done air shows, and like they used to have a team on in the army.
Yes,
that went around and did it. It was, the absolute craziest thing, and I was like, and they have it on YouTube. Like, how crazy!
Right.
You see the Mustang crossing? They're wild horses.
Oh yeah, look at that. How beautiful.
And right here, where it turns right, cut it off to the left.
Okay. Like a climbing left turn, or
just stay low level.
All right.
And then just kind of follow these little creeks through here.
You said now when you got the base, Red Rock 97.
I came through the factory school like in 2011.
Okay.
And I had so much fun out here. Like it's picturesque out here to fly.
Yeah.
Of course it was all training. It wasn't just coming out, yanking and banking, which is,
We'll turn right. Yeah. Who was your instructor?
Oh, I can't remember his name. He was a retired Army guy that had come back to MD. He had retired, and then something happened. His house burned down or something up in the mountains.
Oh, weird.
And then he came back to work because he needed to,
It wasn't Nick Page.
No.
It wasn't Dennis.
No. This was, 12, 13. I'd have to look at my logbook and see what his name was. Up this way, or?
Yeah, keep going that way.
Turn left, fly towards the
That's wild.
Once the uniform.
But yeah, it was fun. Who was here was, what's his name from, he just left not too long ago. He was Mesa PD.
Dave Salem.
Dave, yeah. Dave was here, but he was doing recurrent with some guys from like St. Louis or something.
Okay.
And so he introduced me to the guy that I was flying with, and I can't remember his name, but I met Dave. That was the first time I met Dave. And
yeah. Yeah, those St. Louis guys are good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, how beautiful is it through here?
Oh, I know.
Got one bird, another bird.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, we'll follow this road out and go back into like the canyons and go do a couple landings and stuff out there.
All right, traffic at sight, turning base, and can we request a full stop?
Yeah, there's nothing like flying at 500, 530, man.
Are you an instructor?
No, unfortunately I'm not. I never got my flight instructor rating. I take my TFOs out, teach them how to hover, let them fly, because I love sharing the gift of flight with people, you know. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I'd let guys fly all the time and teach them stuff.
1395, turn right at the end. No delay to the end, please.
And I think that's important. A lot of the guys that do, you know, get their TFOs involved and stuff like that, I feel just, it just creates that dynamic and the safety and, you know, the TFOs just feel more connected to the helicopter and like they're a part of it. So it just makes for a better team, safety environment, all that stuff.
Well, plus, you know, God forbid something happens to you, you know, your partner can at least have a fighting chance to get the helicopter on the ground.
You're right, yeah. But you have the other guys that don't let the TFOs do nothing. Get off my controls. Don't worry. You do that job. I'm the pilot. They wear that cape, right?
I see a lot of that in EMS too. You know, where they're like, you know, the pilots don't want to include the med crews on anything. You know, it's like, well, I'm the pilot. You're just med crew, and I treat my crews just like I would if it was you and me flying. You know, it's like we just go out, we have a good time, we communicate. You know, I enjoy their input.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, they're along for the ride, man. They make a conscious decision to get in that helicopter. So, you know, the fact that they want to fly with me is a good thing.
And we'll cruise over the Dry Creek bed. We'll just take them through the canyons out here. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because your sole job as the pilot commanding that aircraft is to get them home at the end of the night and to keep them safe. So they're part of the safety of the helicopter, which is your job is the safety of the helicopter.
And what I told them is I said, you know, the patient is really down low on my priority list of things. I said, because I said, the patient doesn't have a choice. The doctors, you know, whoever calls for a helicopter, and they get whatever they get. I said, and the patient doesn't have really a say in anything. I said, but you make a conscious decision every day to show up to work and get in this helicopter with me. I said, so the most important thing to me is your trust and the fact that I never want to erode that trust. You know?
Exactly, yeah. No, I would have loved to have someone like you as my base pilot supervisor starting off, because you have that just mentality that needs to be spread through that, you know, EMS system and stuff like that. But that's probably years of working with a team doing law enforcement stuff. And
and I was a flight medic in the Army before I was, you know, a crew chief or which way.
Oh, so you get it, yeah.
Which way?
That way.
Yeah, so, you know, I know what it's like. I've been in inadvertent IMC in the back of a Black Hawk in a dust storm, and I know how bad that feels, and I never want my crews to feel that, and I never want to be in that position, you know? And so I tell them, like, you know, you all have just as much of a right to turn a flight down as I do. Like, you know, my goal is to never have you have to 51% of flight so that before you get a chance to.
Yeah.
And so far, that's been, you know, my MO is, and that's why my crews enjoy, you know, not to brag, but my crews enjoy flying with me, and I enjoy flying with them, because how you and I are interacting right now, that's how I am with my crews, and you know, it's just like, hey, we got the best job in the world, man. We get to go out and fly helicopters and save people's lives, or, you know, chase bad guys, and why make it a stressful thing? And, you know, I don't have an ego. Like, pop over the snow.
Yeah, the egos. People deny that that's the worst.
Oh, it's the biggest killer in aviation.
If we could get rid of ego in the world, then we'd live in peace, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of deaths wouldn't happen, so on and so on. No, you're absolutely right. It's nice talking to people about aviation that just understand it. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah, totally.
So let's swoom over here. So start slowing down real quick. And that square rock right there, directly ahead. We're gonna land on top of that thing.
Okay,
real quick. And it slopes, so we're gonna have to kind of approach that way. And there's a little rock on top of it. Just don't hit the rock.
Okay.
And I'll watch your side on the right.
Okay. Thank you.
And you got plenty of room on my side. Plenty of room. What I usually do is turn the nose towards that rock and kind of put it underneath, kind of like that chin bubble. And you're clear on my side. You got plenty of room.
Is there a wire wispus on this or no?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you want, on either. He did it on that rock over there. Hop over there and once again, you can put it off on your side.
In 527, runway 2.
You can just tell that these 530s are just stable, man.
Stable as hell, man.
Okay, Tower, look for 4461, can we make this one a full stop?
Nice.
Not bad, huh?
Nope.
Dude, that's where we should have brought Jeff and put him on that rock and got a video.
Yeah.
Of us. Here, let me see. I haven't got to do it.
You got it.
Let's see if I could be stable on this thing. We'll put it on my side over here.
Sure. So probably the favorite
4460 and 1507.
My favorite training I ever did at Riverside was
Number 1.
the mountain course through Western.
Western Ops?
Yeah, Western helicopters.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. Flying with Pete Gillies and Bob Spencer.
The legends.
Going up into the mountains of Southern California and doing one skids. Okay, I got it.
Straight. Hey, we'll go in on a peak up here.
Okay.
Yeah, those guys are the legends, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, you know, I did all my, so I went through the factory school in, like I said, 2011 when I was brand new in the unit. And then our dope task force that we flew for, they paid for it, so that's why I went, because our city would never pay for us to go to, you know, out here for the initial factory school.
Yeah. Sorry, we're gonna just shoot for the bottom side here, and it's gonna be a peak back behind this one.
Okay.
But
so they cross over the top here on that, like this.
You could either cross over the top, or you could just go lower, so you don't have to climb all the way over.
Okay. But
they wouldn't pay for you to take
no, they would. The city never wanted to pay to send guys to initial, but so we would do it with Western. So I initially went through Western's initial EP course with, you know, doing in the 500.
Okay.
And then Dave Mullins was like, hey, the dope task force is going to pay for you to go to MD school, so I came out here, went to this factory school. But then every quarter we would go and do EPs with, you know, Bob and Pete.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, getting a chance to fly with those guys and learn from them.
We'll head towards that set of mountains right in front of us.
Okay.
Yeah, those guys, I would have loved to get a chance to, you know, knowing what I know now about the helicopter and being able to do what I do in this helicopter with training and stuff, getting to learn from those guys, you know, like the Dave Salems and the other guys like that. I learned a lot from those guys, and but being able to, you know, just expand to guys outside of the factory that are doing the same stuff.
Right.
They just have a knowledge that, man, it's that tribal knowledge that it just goes away, you know?
And that's, you know, what, like with Dave Mullins, learning like surveillance work, you know, high altitude surveillance in the helicopter. Like I learned so much from him in the years that I flew with him. And, you know, initially I was flying, you know, as a tactical flight officer with him, and he was training me to fly when we weren't doing surveillance work.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just picked up, like, I learned, like, just the way Dave talks to people and the way he approaches everything, you know, and so, I mean, it's half the reason why I do the podcast, because I get to meet people and, you know, in this business, and get to do, you know, this is like the coolest thing so far that we've been able to do with the podcast, is come out here to MD and, you know, get a chance to go out and fly with you guys. And, but
Northwest.
yeah, I always thought, like, my dad was a salesman, and I was like, man, I could never sell anything. But
you see that tire on the edge of the fence there?
Aviator 16.
Yes.
We're going to land right in front of that, so you circle back around. And
on this side of it?
Yep.
On this side of the tire? Okay.
Yeah, because there's a fence that tire's on, so we'll just land on that landing point right there.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, it's awesome that you guys got, we found out you guys were coming, and no, it's to us a big deal. You know, people that, like, oh, you're interested in the factory? Which you would think is not a... from your point of view, it probably wouldn't look like, no, we're interested in you, you know?
Right,
like,
and, you know, I mean, I have, obviously, I've got a history with MD, helicopters, with the product, and if there's one company that I want to see succeed more than anything, it's MD, right? Because I've got so many, hours flying these machines.
Exactly.
And you know what? It's an American company. It's an American helicopter. It's American made. Like, what more could you want? As a proud American is to, and so to come in and see the factory floor, guys, working, building, these things still literally by hand, fucking rivets.
Yeah.
Like, man, talk about an inspiring.
I tell people, there's no machinery that goes in the helicopter. These guys are, every helicopter has its own attitude because it just depends on the attitude of the guys that were, making it.
Right.
And you're clear. If you want to turn a little, maybe about 40 degrees that way, and then you're clear to come over to the right if you need, but you're clear down as well.
Put it where these other skids are.
There we go. There you go. Get you up in the mountains a little bit.
What's that?
Get you up in the mountains a little bit.
Yeah.
6,500 feet DA here. Not bad, huh?
No, not at all.
Awesome views.
All right, we got you in sight, so
cool, man.
We'll just stay to the right of you guys.
This is fun.
Go ahead that way.
Yeah, copy. I'll make a little turn on the left here. Try to get a little bit north of you. 7 Juliet.
Sweet, thank you.
There we go. Yeah, I enjoy the company. It's cool because people come in for training and stuff like that. And they're like, why are people so nice? Like, do y'all get paid? Like, is it always like that? I'm like, it's always like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's odd from the mechanics. Usually you get grumpy mechanics or grumpy pilots or something. It's like everybody is so nice and it's odd. It's like you're walking into like the Truman Show or something. Right. It's like, what? Hold on, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Who's paying you?
How long have you been with MD now?
5 years.
What I like now is that Brad has lineage. He's got a history with him. I mean, you can't beat the product, man. Like,
No.
And the helicopters will sell themselves, but you've got to have the vision and the focus, and it's got to be on the product. So I think you guys are in good hands now, and I'm happy for you because it's just such a great product.
Yeah. And then, he's so far ahead in where he wants to take the company and stuff. It's like, it's refreshing, right?
Yes.
It's just a new set of eyes and somebody who knows how to get it there.
Right.
Obviously, it's going to take time, but it's cool. The company's cool. And we're large but small at the same time. So you still have like family feel, right? Where everybody knows everybody. You're not a number in the system. We still have, every other week, the guys in the hangar will pull out the barbecue grills and still grill burgers and we'll all eat together and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. You don't go to the large manufacturers and I guarantee you the CEO doesn't know who some of the mechanics are, but Brad's in there, high-fiving people, talking about sports, sitting down eating with guys and stuff. That's
so important.
Yeah, it's like, wait, the CEO knows the mechanics?
Right.
He knows what sports teams they liked and ask about their kids and stuff. And, I'm a nobody, and Brad found out that I was having a baby a little bit ago and was like, hey, get CJ's registry so I could get him something. It's like, no, you don't. Wait, hold on. You don't get me things.
Right.
What world do we live in where the CEO buys me something?
Right.
But that's just his mindset
That's great.
And he'll come in and just, it's same thing with Ashley, same thing with our, Jason Lindauer. I don't know if you met him. All the guys up at the very top, they do not come in and just sit there and just chat, talk, and, whatnot. It's like, okay, we are a team,
Yep. My philosophy, is that if you take care of your people will take care of the company.
Yeah.
So just focus on them, focus on their well-being.
Right.
And when people are happy, they're gonna bend over backwards to get the job done.
Yeah.
And when you micromanage and you lose focus on the people, that's when you lose focus. And when you're just worried about making money. If people are happy, they're gonna make you money.
Yeah, even with us, with the pilots, we work just weird schedules, and so we don't get the same benefits as everybody else when it comes to time off and stuff. It's just whenever we can take it. But if we had to go by the policies, then we'd never get time off.
Yeah.
And Dennis asked Brad, like, hey man, like, I want to follow the company policy, but like, and we'll just keep kind of heading. This will take you out on the mountains over there. He's asked, how do we do this? And he just tells Dennis, take care of your guys. I don't care. As long as those guys are taken care of, then I know you're doing your job. And, okay. And then Dennis takes care of us, rather than trying to work around all these policies and so on, where it's just impossible to follow. And, but that's that leadership, right? Where they bring in, and that's like, oh yeah, I'll work harder now than I know I'm not going to be, just have my nose ripped off from just grinding constantly. Right. No, that's good. And once again, you guys are we were talking, you're putting a voice to the industry. Yeah. Who knows that MD is still a thing, and all these like small town, stories you guys are telling for these guys, people need to know about it. We are not MD. Right. The industry is not, I don't care who it is, Airbus, there's a line, I got it. Airbus, Bell, they are all held up by these small town units, these guys that nobody will ever hear about. There's somebody's where they are, and they're important, and that is what holds up the manufacturers. And it's like, those people need to be heard about, especially when it comes to funding, when it comes to why are my tax dollars going to this? Things like that, or people that just have stories to tell that I can learn from, that, somebody in Virginia Beach can learn about somebody in San Diego, and it's like, how come these guys don't know each other? Right. Yeah. Exactly. This is a way to where I've met those Oxford PD guys once, but through you guys, through what they do, social media and stuff, it's like, oh, now I feel like I've known you forever. Yeah, right. Listen to some of y'all's other stories, it's like you connect with them, you feel like you know them.
Scott Hebel from San Diego County. The first time I met him was at John's retirement party, in person. Yeah. But he and I have been friends on social media, on the podcast stuff for years now. And there's another guy, Rob Stead. We interviewed him on the podcast. This kind of towards the beginning of my time on the podcast. He and we were actually in Civil Air Patrol when we were kids. Never knew each other, but ended up like in encampment, like our little boot camp together when we were like teenagers. We both flew law enforcement. Now we're both flying EMS, and we've never ever been in the same building since 1988. But we're like, we talk every day on social media and stuff, and we have so many connections, like mutual connections. That's what I love about aviation, man, is like guys like us, we're passionate about aviation, we're passionate about people's stories and hearing them, because it's inspiring, and it really is, man. It's like, just a little bit. Follow this.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a radio call. Sure. Can you pop up maybe like 100 feet? Yeah. There we go. And tower.
Harvey Soldier Lima, Roger, I can get to the south runway now. Turn right, fly eastbound, plan for a straight in. Change to runway 22 left and contact tower 12416.
I said a little more than 100.
No, this works.
Call 246 Harvey Soldier Lima.
And we're going to have to cut off to the right so we don't bust airspace.
Report reestablishment down there, Oxford 1395.
Down before approaching train number 8 AM, inbound Cactus 2 to Yankee 2.
94 back to tower, Yankee, direction Cactus 2 to Yankee 2, approved, advise ready for Yankee 2.
Let's do Yankee 2 approved, and we'll report for the Yankee 2 MD4.
I'll do a full down auto rotation with you. Okay. Yeah, you guys did that story with like RJ and stuff like that. It's just good for the industry,
Absolutely.
It's not portraying what happened. It's the survival instincts that any one of us could have to go through one day, right? In my job as a training guy here at the factory, I get to see hundreds of guys, right, throughout the year. So I get to put my little mentor piece in there. It's like, hey, I was in the industry, I've done this, I hear all the stories, now let me tell you the stories, right? You don't want to do these things because this could happen. What you guys do is you put the person in front of them. I get to relay the story. You guys put the people in front of them and say, now hear their story from them.
Yeah, hear it from the horse's mouth.
Exactly, yeah. Because you don't know how many people come in and it's like, hey, dude, what happened with that Huntington Beach stuff? And I could briefly tell them, but I can't tell them from RJ's point of view.
Right.
You know? Or other accidents or other events or, you know, rescue stories. What was going through your mind? What were you doing? You know?
Landing clearance, I'm going to put you back in the downwind.
So, no, I fully believe in y'all's podcast, and I'm not just saying that because you're right here.
Landing clearance, and climb back to pattern
Am I
altitude.
following the road now?
Yeah, let's follow I get nothing from it. I'm not a salesman. I'm obviously an instructor because I care about that. I wouldn't be in this position. I'd probably be making money somewhere else. But I love instructing. I love the mentor side. I love trying to keep people safe. And I feel like in a way you guys are doing that same exact thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what Clay Lacey from Texas DPS, he's like, you know, this what you guys are doing is so important for our industry, and it makes you feel good because you know, we're doing it for the right reasons. Like John and I are just passionate about it, and you know, we like to hear people's stories and Hangar talk.
I got the controls.
You got the controls.
Lighter base turn just north of the dam, please.
Come on, guys. What are you doing up there?
329.
All right, and if you want, you can hang on to the controls while I do this, and we're just gonna go land somewhere in front of those little airplanes there.
In 3, 2, 1. Archer, base your discretion, number 2, runway 22 right, clear to land.
I'll just try to go for that. Like, you see this circle over here on my side?
Got it. Yeah.
And I'll just slow it down. There we go. This thing is like, what's it called? This surface is like a ice skating.
Starting your right base altitude in case 2,300 Archer report that site.
It's all grippy in certain spots.
Yeah, these helicopters are so maneuverable.
Oh yeah. I told my crews, you know, I'm like, man, I wish I could have taken you up at a 500 one time and flown you around. You'd absolutely love it.
It picks up. I'll get a clearance to head in.
I'm gonna just pull it up into a hover and pedal turn. Anytime before I like to reposition back to deliver it.
Before reposition, about some rescue caution, the wind 1305.
And before.
Thanks for flying with me, dude.
Man, thank you, CJ.
Thanks for the conversation.
Oh, man, it's been great. Love to fly with you again sometime. It's absolutely. I always enjoy it.
1395, turn to the left on Alpha, hold short of runway 22 left.
Just air taxi from here, like over.
Yeah, once we get around the airplane, pop over and just land. We can land close to the closest parking spot to that door over there.
Gotcha.
And the fact that my feet have been on the floor, my hands have been in my lap, shows that I trust you a little bit.
719 Lima Alpha, 7 miles north.
I appreciate it.
Usually at least I'm like, this is, yeah, I'm comfortable.
You know, like, this is like that. It's funny because I posted yesterday, I said, I posted you know, when I was at Memphis International getting ready to head out, I said, I've got this, a rendezvous with an old, you know, mistress.
Yeah.
And it's really true, man. And this is like, you know, that opportunity to see anybody that's flown a 500. I was telling Dennis too, you know, there's two kinds of helicopter pilots. There's those guys that have flown a 500 and all they want to do is fly 500 again. And the guys that have never flown a 500 that want to fly a 500. Yeah. That's it, man, because it's such an iconic helicopter. 96, just you're full stop going back to the ramp. If I won the lottery, I'd have a 530 or a 500, you know, in my hangar, and that would probably be it, really, you know, as far as.
Haven't forgotten about you. One more rep.
It would be all I need, man. You have so much fun in this thing, and they're just such a joy to fly, and
That's what he was saying. He was like, I don't know an MT guy that doesn't seem like he's in a cult.
Right.
He's like, it's a cult following, dude.
It is.
It's
absolutely.
Like every MD, and that's the cool part about here is like.